Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of What the Elf Was That?
You're listening to the What the Elf Was That podcast, an iconoclastic look at the latest Cleveland Browns news. The What the Elf Was That podcast is part of the Fanatical Elves podcast network, a part of the Fans First Sports Network. Here's your host, Joel Cade.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of What the Elf Was That? I'm your host, Joel Cade. As you know, we sit and we talk about the Browns every week. But this week, little change up for y'all. I've got a guest here with me who is not a Browns fan. Say hello to Mike McDermott.
Hello there. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for inviting me on the show, Joel.
Oh, thanks for coming. So, Mike, I heard a nasty, vicious rumor about you.
Uh-oh.
I heard you went to this wild and crazy party on Saturday where the host got so drunk that he invited you to be on his podcast.
That is absolutely correct. Yeah. So he threw this great big spread, had Christmas decorations everywhere, plenty of cold beverages. There were hot beverages too. And he plied me with food and drink, and I am here today.
So, Mike, I don't remember. Did I get a chance to show you my Browns watching room?
You did. You did. I was expecting it to be a little bit larger, honestly. But
there it comes.
That was it was great. There was it really did fit into the the historical nature of your home, having all of those past wins and
still one of the Steelers.
But it was nice. It was nice. You had room in your Browns viewing station for two people to sit and watch the game. So I imagine that additional 50%. Is that like a friend of yours, or is it just somebody who sits next to you during that game?
So you'll hear me say a lot, and the people who listen to my podcast regularly hear me talk a lot how I watch the game with my son. My 26-year-old son, actually he's 27 now, 27-year-old son, and I actually be 27 really soon. But he and I sit and watch the games together, and it's kind of like a father-son thing. So when we put the room together, we thought, what would it be for just him and I to have an intimate setting where we can just watch, the Browns and commiserate and have our alcohol to get us through this situation and go from there. So, yeah, I would say I took him to his first football game when he was 12. And we went and saw Aaron Rodgers. Now that's 15 years ago.
Very good.
Aaron Rodgers and the Packers play against the Bengals, and we got the treatment from the Bengals after the Packers won. So it was fun. It was fun. But yeah, he comes in and he commiserates with me. Speaking of commiserating, I sent you the file to watch for the Browns game, and I put in the email, bring a puke bucket because this is bad. So what did you think of the Browns game? The Browns game.
So this was Browns Titans, and so far I believe the Titans have eked by 3 wins. I think they've gotten this year.
No, they have 2.
Or was it 2 wins? 2 wins.
2 wins.
Okay.
Yeah, my camera does weird stuff when I put up hand signs. watch this.
Hey, dude, that's cool, man.
I don't know why it does that. But anyway, go ahead.
Celebrate. So I think watching the Browns Titans game, we've got Shedeur Sanders, right? That's somebody that I was really hoping to see the Browns bring out earlier than they did, and
so we're a lot of Browns fans.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I'm gonna just like put a pin in you letting a quarterback go to and get picked up, by another team. I'm not going to mention that at all.
You mentioned Baker Mayfield?
No, he's not in that discussion.
Okay.
But
so the Browns fans love to talk about
I was talking about Flacco, right? I'm not,
Look. Let me explain something about this season. To fully understand the Browns' experience and why Shedeur was sitting there playing against the Titans, right? he was drafted in the 5th round. I don't think Kevin Stefanski wanted him. I think ownership wanted him. I'm not sure Andrew Berry wanted him. And Kevin Stefanski has blackballed this kid up until the point where he had no other choice but to put him in the game because nobody else could play. And then when he got into the game, he was like, oh, this kid ain't that bad. And then he has to keep playing him because he's the only one that's selling tickets besides Myles Garrett, but you can't like put Myles Garrett at quarterback. Although I have on this podcast suggested that we should just play Myles Garrett at quarterback. Can't be any worse than anybody else got out. So
he does have a good arm, right? We've seen him throw before.
They were showing him on the TV throwing. So anyway, Shedeur, and Shedeur, I will say this for Shedeur in the game. He looks competent. Now, for the average Browns fan, that means he's a franchise quarterback. For a realistic Browns fans, that means he's a rookie playing his 3rd game. And he looks like a rookie playing his 3rd game. And he was able to take advantage of the off coverage that he was getting late in the game to mount this comeback, right? But that's what you're supposed to do. But Browns fans are so used to having quarterbacks who can't even do that, that Shedeur Sanders looks like he's like the bee's knees of quarterbacks. Yeah. So it should be interesting to see what happens in Browns world, particularly when they play the Steelers and they play against an actual competent defense for the most part.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that. I would say that you're absolutely right when it comes to Shedeur's performance against the Titans. He provide solid box stats. I mean you can't really disagree with anything like that. And mounting a return, right? You guys were down 14 points, right? For a good part of the game, and then was able to kind of return to some sanity and get some yardage. And unfortunately, that still didn't work out from the score. The offensive line did not do any favors for Shedeur.
No. So I think there's like one starter playing on the offensive line. The team that they started out with week 1, there's like one starting lineman. One starting. I mean, Jack Conklin was hurt like week 2. We knew that was coming. And DeJuan Jones got hurt. We kind of was hoping he would make it longer than that. Posick got hurt during the game. Joel Bitonio's still there. Wyatt Teller was benched, then got hurt, apparently on the bench because he went on IR the next week, or at least he was inactive. So that is a makeshift offensive line working for Shedeur. So
yeah,
here's what I want to say about this Browns game, and I want to kind of get into some of this for the Browns fans. So you're just gonna have to catch up to speed. All right. I was extremely impressed with Browns fans in this game because Browns fans showed who they truly are at heart. Now, to set this up for you guys, think about last time when we played the San Francisco 49ers the week before, and that moron Corley ran over to the side on the kickoff and toe drag swagged the kickoff to keep the ball in bounds, placing the Browns inside the 10. And everybody's like, what in the world is going, what the elf? This moron doing, right? The Titans come back, and I don't know if this was on the speed game or not, but the Titans come back and they thought, Corley's still back there. Let's see if he's just that dumb. And so they kick the ball to the pylon. So it's questionable. Is this going to be inbounds, out of bounds? And Corley running over there, looking like he's going to catch it. And we're all like, oh my God, just let it go. And I think you could hear in unison from that corner of the stadium over the announcers and the broadcast, this let it go. And like this, like the scene from Forrest Gump, right? Where they all run and stop. It's like, let it go. And he just stops and just watches it go out of bounds. And everybody starts cheering. Yeah. Like those are Browns fans. We know the game better than the players do. And it saved us 40 yards by telling them to not do something stupid. Further on special teams, I want to talk about Gage Larvidan. Another time where the Browns fans really showed their true hearts, right? Gage Larvidan against the 49ers muffed a punt, gave the 49ers the ball in the Browns red zone. They scored a touchdown, blow us out, blah, blah, blah. The first punt of this game, the Titans punt to Larvidan. He drops the ball, was able to jump on it, to keep possession. So the second punt of the game comes up, right? And we're all just like, here we go again. Why can't we just trot Mike Pettin back out here, bring him back and his punt catcher? Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Mike Pettin. He coached the Browns for a while, and he was so sick of kick returners that he ran a safety out there and said, just catch the ball. That was it. His whole job was to run out there, throw his hand up and catch the ball. No matter what was in front of him, what was behind him, wherever was going on, he's just catching the ball, right? So Gage Larvadan runs out there, throws his hands up. He's going to catch them. We're all like, oh, my God, he's going to try to do this again, right? And he catches the ball. In this sheer act of miracleness, he catches the ball. And the stadium just erupts. Yeah! The decibel level is like the highest it was the entire game for Gage Larvadan catching a punt. So I submit, Browns fans, good for you for understanding the game of football and like showing that and making that known. So special teams have been, I think, for as bad as the defense was that game, the special teams were just straight up trash. And the game, the cut up game doesn't show it very well, but the special teams are just god awful. So now let me ask you your opinion on kickers.
Sure.
What's your opinion on kickers?
You really should have a better one.
Well, look, I didn't say my kicker. I'm just talking about kickers in general.
Okay, kickers in general. Okay.
Like game of football. What's your opinion on kickers in the game of football?
Like specifically long kicker or
any topic you want to jump on?
Okay. So kickers are you can't touch a kicker. Right, we found that out.
Let me preface it with this. I think all kickers should be banned from the game of football.
What?
Just no more kickers. They're not football players. They wear shorts out there, like that guy from Oklahoma wearing shorts. Just remove kicking from the game. And the game would be far more interesting than what it is right now.
But how could you do that, Joel, with the name of the sport being football?
Does it
if
matter?
you're not kicking it anymore?
It's more of like a derivation from rugby, so we should just call it like rugby or something. What does rugby call their ball?
I don't know. ChatGPT would figure it out.
Well, I'm not that smart.
So you don't like kickers just because of the?
Oh, it's called a rugby football.
Okay, yeah. Like is it the chance? Is that it? Is it that?
No, this is far more personal than that. My senior year of college, we were playing for the national championship. Okay.
Yeah.
We had like NAIA 2 national championship. I didn't play any big schools, but we're driving down. We got a chance to win the game, and we have this kicker. Have you seen that movie, The Replacements?
Yes.
You know the kicker on that game, on that movie? That was the kicker on my team. He just he thought he was better than everybody.
Okay.
Wasn't a football player, smoked. I ain't doing this crap.
Okay.
You need to play better. You're crap. You're this. So we trot him out there to kick a 35-yard field goal to win the national championship, and this moron shanks it left. So I've
was his name Bucker? Was his name Bucker?
No. I mean, but was part of his name, butthole, but
it sounds like Butker.
It sounds like a butthole, but
I think we could. Can we agree on that?
Harrison Butker, who's he kick for anymore? This is how little I pay attention to kickers.
He's the highest paid kicker.
Oh, now that
and he is also ranked as the worst kicker in the NFL.
No. That was what's his name from Baltimore? Not the new guy.
Not this year.
Not the new guy they got. The other guy who kicked it like a 100-yard field goal. What's his name?
No. So
the guy who went to all the massage parlors and got himself cut.
What?
Oh my God, the Ravens kicked Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker. So he's the best.
He was the highest paid and worst kicker in the NFL last year.
I meant this year. I'm sorry. I'm talking this year.
Hold on, let me finish. Last year, because this is gonna you lead me right into my point, man.
Right.
Right into my point. Kickers are worthless and as people, but like kickers' lives don't matter. But when it comes to a game, if you can kick a long field goal, whatever, you win, right? So Justin Tucker goes to all these massage parlors and harasses the people. Like Deshaun Watson does this, but he like does it in private, so he can't get busted, right? But you got Tucker all over the place. The whole like city of Baltimore knows to not serve him at your massage parlor. He gets cut because he was making like $5 million a year and had like the worst field goal percentage past 50 yards, right? But if you would talk to a Ravens fan, I brought it up.
I'm actually a Ravens fan. Go to hell.
So we brought up the Ravens. We got to bring up their theme. All right. So Justin Tucker, right? They kick him, and then I'm watching the Steelers Ravens game, right? And Tyler Loop, is that his name? Tyler Loop. Come out, and they start going, Loop. And my first response is, wow, they forgot Justin Tucker pretty quick, didn't they? They don't care one rat's rear end about this guy. Like, he's gone. They're on to the next guy. So back to kicker.
There's one.
Kickers ruining the game of football.
I won't. You're not going to get me to agree with you on this, only because of one thing. Bosworth, baby.
See, when you write Bosworth, I think of Brian Bosworth.
No.
Like, what does a linebacker have to do with this?
No, our kicker. The boss.
I honestly couldn't even tell you who the Browns kicker is. I can tell you who the punter is, and I can tell you why I know why the punter is. That idiot punter kicks the ball 60 yards down the field, overkicks his coverage, allows the returner 20 yards of a full steam run before any defender gets close, and then they wonder why they can't stop them for like negative yards.
Mm-hmm.
Just stop overkicking your coverage.
Yeah, I think I think when you look holistically at a football team, right, and you've got football teams that are undefeated football teams. This year we don't have any football teams that are undefeated, but you have the ones at the top of the division, right? So you've got those guys, and then you got the guys that are at the bottom of the division and stuff. And so like the types of players and the amount of players that you really focus on and keep your eyes on is dependent on whether or not you're winning, right? So as you know, mediocre Mike Tomlin, right? That's our coach, right? Mediocre Mike Tomlin. He's going to be great with a 9-8. We'll probably finish 9-8 this year, like last year. And the year before. But having a mediocre team, you know what that means? That means that we keep the score close enough so that if you have a kicker like this guy, Bosworth, you can win games. You can win games when you keep it within one touchdown. You can win games with your kicker, right? But you've got to do that. You can't have a blowout. You cannot, you can't be trailing the entire game, right? Like you're never going to be able to see the valid and important use of the kicker unless you're in that medium section. And then, I submit to you, Joel, that the teams that are winning, like all of the games, again, they don't care about their kicker, and like Booker, right? They no one cares about the kickers of a winning team because they're going to win by 3 touchdowns.
Right.
It doesn't come down to the kicker. It doesn't come down to the punt or where you punt it with all the new kickoff rules. It doesn't matter if you're ahead by 3 touchdowns. It's
Correct.
Not. Correct. So as I submit to you, because we are absolutely, Mike's mediocre Steelers, right? Our kicker is so important, and that's why I have a tight respect for the kicker on our team and all teams. Really, is because of that. Is because they are the ones that last year Bosworth won us 3 games.
Right.
Our kicker won us 3
If this
games.
was the Browns, they'd have lost you 3 games. In fact, they probably lost us 3 games already this year. I'll say this, though. I would just like to see the game of football played without kickers just once, right? Just line them up at the 25, right? After a touchdown, line them up at the 25, give them 4 downs, and you can have the option, which I'm debating the option. You can put the ball 40 yards down the field and call it a punt, or you could just say we're going for 4 plays right here. and then just start changing the 4 plays, and then change a possession. I think it'd be a lot more scoring, be a lot more interesting, and teams would invest in their defense a lot more heavily than they do now. I'm not sure that the offense would get as much play because the game would flip to a more defensive game. Because if you can stop somebody for 4 plays, you've got great field position. You only need a mediocre offense to put it in the end zone. But hey, we gotta take a break real quick. So let's get our bills paid because we make lots and lots of money here at the Fanatical Elves Network. Yeah, ringing in that cash. See, he's already gotten paid. All right, hang on, everybody. We'll be back in after the break. All right, we're back. So I've kind of covered some topics I've wanted to cover. They'll add that in later. Don't worry. So I want to talk about the Steelers game for a second. I want to talk about that crybaby Harbaugh. It's not Jim. Which one's this Harbaugh? Is it Mike, Dave, Bubba, Harbaugh?
Bob?
Whatever.
I don't know.
Well, who cares? He's just a crybaby Harbaugh. The short crybaby Harbaugh was coaching the Ravens and started complaining about that catch in the end zone.
Oh, yeah, likely.
Which I think was interesting. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting play because earlier in the game, this Steeler receiver, Austin, I don't know what his first name is.
Terrell.
Okay, Austin catches this ball 2 feet in, falls out of bounds, drops the ball, and they call it incomplete, which is the correct call, right? You have to have 2 feet in and survive the ground with the catch. When the ball is in the air and it's not going out of bounds, you catch the ball. You have to have 2 steps with control and make a football move. That's the rule. It's been that rule since the last time we had this controversy. Correct. And somehow the Harbaughs, and you can just either one of them, don't understand NFL rules, specifically when the rules don't favor them. Then it's confusing as crap, right? If you watch that play in the end zone, that is technically an incomplete pass because he failed to maintain possession through a football move. Now, I get that Harbaugh's over there, and then probably next year we'll see a rule change that if you catch the ball in the end zone with 2 feet, whether or not you have possession, you get the touchdown. Because that's what the Ravens do with the rule committee. They go in there and they change the rules to favor them. Yeah, that's the Ravens as to why people have to walk in and like announce that they're coming in as eligible, as opposed to the defense figuring out that they're eligible because they're not on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Look, that's a Tomlin rule. Actually, Tomlin was the one that
that was pushed. The Ravens when Bill Belichick did this to them in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They would line up their tight end on the line of scrimmage, and then the last second they'd jump off and they'd go out for a pass, and they'd have them do it in like lineman numbers. Right. No, I meant the football move after the catch. That was okay. I thought
that was a Mike Tomlin rule change, right? So that was. He was part of that one. So you know what? That hurt Harbaugh right at the core because that not only was a call against him, but it was one that Mike Tomlin put in.
It was probably the rule part that pissed him off worse than the actual play.
It's one of those things. Rules. Yeah. You're just going to make a rule right now, right? You're going to overrule New York, right? So we've had catches that were like that too, and we've had touchdowns called back, probably 3 times this year. The Steelers are notorious for being right there on that line, right? Not having a clear decision that New York can go in and change. So, yeah, we lose touchdowns out of that. So.
I kind of have to wonder sometimes who they're actually calling on a replay. Are they calling New York or are they calling Las Vegas? And I wonder who they're actually calling.
That's an entire podcast in itself because it's so easy now with ChatGPT and computers to go in and run all that stuff through, and it's really odd. I'm just going to put that out there. It's really odd when that happens, that if New York's making the call, however, Vegas still covered the spread also, right? So that's the other piece. And there's a lot of big thinking computers that are into that, and I'm certain that New York, even though they're going to say that they don't have that kind of control or that kind of insight, it's just odd how it shows up that way,
A lot.
A lot. Yeah.
A lot.
So, and then the other piece, like, is, and, I hate to even, like, quote Tomlin or be Tomlin-esque, right? But, he says my team, the NFL in itself is an entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer a sport. It's to entertain the fans, right? And when you're not winning and you're not trying, you're not entertaining your fans. And then you go look up in your stands and they're empty, right? And you're like, hey, we're not doing our job, guys, right? The stands are empty. So the Steelers don't want to become the Pirates, right? So you go to a Pirates game on a weekend and, there's 3,000 people in the stands. It's ridiculous. It's because they don't put out a good product. They don't entertain their fans. They don't pay decent players to come out and play ball. Right?
See, go ahead.
Well, the Steelers don't want to be that way, right? So you want to entertain your fans. Kudos, right? I'll throw kudos in the Browns' direction there, is because your fans stick around whether or not they win, right? Which is antithetical to that whole entertainment thing, because you guys have respect and support for a team that doesn't bring home the win. So, when it comes down to rivalries and stuff like that, we really don't have a rivalry. Steelers don't have really a rivalry outside of player rivalries anymore, right? Because it's not, it's not like we are head to head, fighting tooth and nail in these games. There's going to be a clear winner when you're playing some of these teams in the NFL, and there's going to be a clear loser. So,
Right.
I think the rules committees and I think the refs, when they're out there on the field, they want to promote entertainment because they're out there judging for that, right? That's what they're doing. And so to make the game entertaining, I think some of these calls are made that way.
Yep.
To go in and promote or de-promote certain activities. Joey Porter Jr., right? He's our CB. He's a great cornerback. His dad was a fantastic. He's in the Hall of Fame, and Joey Porter Jr. is his son, right? But Joey Porter Jr. can't come 10 yards from a wide receiver running a route without getting a penalty called on him. They just love going after and just calling it against Joey Porter Jr., right? And
he had that reputation in college.
Yeah, well, and so
before the NFL, he had that reputation.
Yeah, well, and he owns it. We still have him on the team, right? But it's again, it's an entertainment thing. Do the Steelers hate that that he loses us 40 to 50 yards a game? Yeah, we hate that, right? But we still want to see him out there.
Right. Yep,
we want to see him out there, because
I think that call that he got on DeAndre Hopkins was awful. That was not even a penalty. I'm looking at that. And I'm like, that's DeAndre Hopkins using his name to get himself a call, and probably Joey Porter on the other end with his name getting the call.
Exactly. And I know Joey Porter Jr. knows it happens, right? I've met him several times actually, because I went to a after party, and I got invited to an after party after the game, and Joey Porter Jr. was there, Senior was there, and we started talking about that. And he goes, he said, Mike, he says, I am always going to get the call against me. I'm always going, and he says, there's no reason for me not to clothesline a guy. There's no reason for me not to go in and smack him in the head, because it's a game. It's entertainment. And Joey Porter Jr. knows this. The Steelers know this. But the thing is, it's frustrating to the fans. It's frustrating to the fans. And then also, not for you and I. We understand what's going out there, the product that's being put out there. But then, like, for the casual viewer, that's super upsetting, right? Or the new viewer, right? The young viewer that's looking at it and going, why? They're pulling their hair out.
It's so funny because I used to listen to people complain about first downs all the time. I was writing for a website called Dog Pound Daily, and I wrote a 5-page article on what constitutes a first down and all the stuff that goes into a first down. right? Officials do not need, and you know this, they do not need to pull the chains out there to tell you if it's first down or not. They know from sight it's a first down because no matter where the ball is like actually down, they move it to the closest hash or the closest like line marker, either back or forward, to speed up the game to avoid this situation. Happens for both teams, and like, yeah, I think people see these videos of these officials moving the ball up, and it's like they're cheating. Like, they're not cheating. This is how they do it for every game and every play and every situation. They just move it up to avoid having to bring the chains out because the chains are boring. But I absolutely agree with you. It's an entertainment game, which is part of my reason against kickers, because I think the game would be far more entertaining with every team going for it on fourth down than it would be watching a punt.
Yeah.
Or you could just put the ball on the other side of the field 40 yards away and go for it. But that assumes that you have teams that understand that you kick the ball 40 yards and force a fair catch is the best way to punt. You know, but when you have people like the Browns who kick the ball 60 yards, let the guy run for 20 yards and then try to catch him, like you're playing backyard bang up or whatever. I mean, like you wonder why we give up touchdowns. I mean, I guess in that way you can say the Browns are entertaining because we're like the foil. What do they call them? The heel. We're the heel in pro wrestling, right? We're the heel. Well, we're out there getting our butts kicked and cheating and all this stuff, and we're just terrible, and that's what makes us entertaining. I don't know. I do know we've gone 30 minutes, and I don't want to take up your whole day, but I would be more than happy to have you back. We will find our stride if you're interested in coming back, but we will chat some more. But at this point, I want to give you some parting shots and anything you want to say.
Well, you know, like I said, it's not a parting shot against the Browns. I think the Browns, we play you guys one more time.
Yep.
It's an important game. And if you want to go in and see some good AFC North football, you could just kind of like lay down on that game. That would be awesome. And then
we lay down for every game. What are you talking about?
Because I think there's a shared amongst the rest of the AFC North, there's a shared hatred for the Ravens, right? Yeah. And we don't want to see them on top. And in order to get the Steelers to win, we don't have to win out, but we definitely need to beat those Bengals, right?
Right.
And it's going to be interesting to go in and see if who comes out as the Bengals quarterback, right? So. We've got a situation where their starting quarterback loses to us more than he wins, and then your backup quarterback Flacco wins more than he loses. So it's gonna be interesting to see who gets the field. Personally, I would want to win that game, and I'd put Flacco out there if I were the Bengals, but I don't think that's going to happen. So that's going to probably be the biggest game, I think, for the rest of the season is going to be that particular challenge, because I don't think that the Miami Dolphins are going to be any trouble.
I just want to point out the Browns annihilated the Dolphins.
Yes, and so the other stat is that the any time that the Dolphins play when the temperature's less than 40 degrees, they lose. They lose every game below 40 degrees. And it's going to be below 40 degrees for sure in Pittsburgh.
Monday night matchup, right?
Yes. Yep. Okay. So that's going to be a game to watch there. And I don't see the Dolphins surviving that one.
The Browns are headed to Chicago, where the weather is supposed to be 20 below wind chill.
Oh, I love watching those games. I definitely don't like. I like watching them from home. Yep. Have you ever been to a December game, Joel?
I have been to December games, January games. I've been to games. Anytime you can think of when there's a game, there's a game. Okay. I mean, I know I haven't talked a whole lot about my football background, and maybe you could talk a little bit about your football background and give me about 5 more minutes, because I don't want to take up your whole day. But I grew up here in Piqua, played football in Piqua. I live in Troy, as you know. Played football in Piqua, went to college and played football at Olivet Nazarene. I was a grad assistant at the University of Notre Dame for a couple years. I've coached football at every level you can think of, Pee-wee, junior high, high school. I mean, I taught my kids football. In fact, my daughter played high school football in Troy, and her sophomore year, the coaches started asking her to break down film because they liked how she could look at the film and see what was going on and break it down. So I taught my kids football. So I've written about football. So I go to football. I mean, I will stand out in like 20 below watching a football game if it's a good football game. If it's too trashy, like I was offered tickets to go see the Titans and the Browns. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's not worth it to me. I'm not going to watch this terrible game like go down. Like, I'm just not. So
you're in it for the entertainment. Yeah, you're in it for the entertainment, just like the rest of us.
I guess I just want to echo the comments you emailed me with. Like, I don't like watching these games when these teams are really bad because it's bad football, and then there's something repulsive about bad football. Like the Steelers, I'm watching that game. I was like, I could be I'm not going to be saying we'll be a Steelers fan, but I can see why the Steelers are good year in and year out, or at least mediocre. I mean, they don't have the greatest roster in the NFL, but they get the most out of their roster. They're disciplined. They play hard. They play solid, fundamental football, and that will win you football games. When you go out there and you don't know what you're doing, you're catching the ball on a kickoff out of bounds, you're dropping punts, you're letting people run 50 yards up the field on a kickoff when the kickoff is designed to stop them, right? Like it becomes unwatchable because it's terrible. It's just terrible, and I just can't watch it.
So I'll leave you with this and I do want to find out your what you thought of this. I'm not sure if you caught that, but Ben Skoranek, he's on the kicking team, right, for the Steelers, right? So normally during kickoff, Ben Skoranek is the gunner, right, and the gunner is the guy that goes in and tackles the guy with the ball, right? He runs as fast as he can. He always gets double teamed. Now Ben Skoranek got injured during the game, and during the prior play, and so he wasn't able to go in. DK Metcalf, right, an absolute stud, saw that that Skoranek hurt his hand, and he says, "I'll do it. I'll be gunner."
That's a scary proposition to see him coming down to get you.
Yeah, well, and
I think I would run the other way.
Yeah, so this says everything about DK Metcalf and something about the Steelers is that DK Metcalf, a guy that's making $8 million this year, playing for us, that he volunteered himself to be the gunner, right? When we normally send league min guys down, like Skoranek, right? He's league minimum. If he breaks his leg, if he blows his ACL, if he gets a huge concussion, whatever it is, if he's carted off, no one cares, right? It's league minimum guy getting hurt, right? DK Metcalf went out there, and he was the gunner on that one play, right? And I was like, when I saw that, I was like, that's stupid. But then I thought about it, and I was like, wow, look at that. That's leadership there. That's a guy that said, I'm willing to go in and do the dirt duty, right? The league min guy duty to get this game moving forward, make sure we get that guy tackled so we win this game, right? What do you think about that? Like, I mean, did you see that play?
Oh, I didn't notice that particular part of it because I'm watching the cut up, right? I'm watching the short of the game. I will say this, like, I always joke that you can't spell Myles Garrett without me. And that's pretty accurate for him. Like, it's about Myles Garrett. I'm surprised he doesn't talk about himself in the third person. But that's who the Browns are, right? It's like me. But when you see the Steelers, and I think this is kind of what I was getting at before, is you see a team that plays as a football team, and they want to win as a football team, and they do the things that are necessary like this to win football games. And that's what makes them entertaining. That's what makes it good. Like, that's what will take a bottom. I want to say you guys are a bottom half roster. Let's put it that way. And you can get a 9-9, 9-8 team out of a bottom half roster, as opposed to you've got maybe a mid-level, middle maybe roster, and you're rolling in on 3-12. Like, yeah. My thing likes that. So you're rolling in 3-12, but that's what the Browns really lack, and I blame the head coach for that. Because that's where that comes from. And, and I think you hit Mike Tomlin hit it right. Like, it's entertainment. We're here to entertain our fans.
Right.
Like, nobody like lies and says we're playing football. We're doing football, sports entertainment. I think that's how the NFL describes itself. Sports entertainment.
Yeah, yeah, and another Tomlinism on top of that is we want volunteers. We don't want prisoners, right? We don't want you feeling like you got to play football for us, right? We want you on here because you want to be here, right? And so DK Metcalf, that was a good pickup, and it was surprising to me that that guy that gets paid all that money is willing to go in and do that. And he's a volunteer, right? He's a volunteer. He's out there to hopefully win the game for us, right? That's the mindset, and it's not all about me, right? Some of that has to do with pay packages, right? Some of that has to do just like the folks that we keep, right? George Pickens, we got rid of George Pickens because it was all about him. It just didn't meld or mesh well with the rest of the Steelers ethos, right? And so we got rid of him. Now he's killing it down there in Dallas.
Yeah.
Good for him, right?
Mm-hmm. He can also be number 2 down there in Dallas.
Right.
When you can be number 2 to CeeDee Lamb, then, I used to always make this comment about Odell Beckham Jr. trying to be the number 1 in Cleveland. He's a number 2. He was a number 2 long before he came to Cleveland. And he just refuses to be number 2. Then he went out to Los Angeles and played the number 3 role. Like, oh my God, look at Odell Beckham. He's so great. I troll him on X all the time. I always just randomly, how's retirement? And he always comes back, I'm not retired. Well, it looks like to me you're retired. But all right, hey, we got to
awesome.
wrap up. We got to wrap up. So
cool.
Thanks for joining us today. Stick around, don't jump off just yet, and I want to chat with you afterward. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the What the Elf Was That podcast. Please like, subscribe, and tell all your friends to give a listen. You can follow host Joel Cade on Twitter @TheLeftGuard.